got confirmed that the motorcyclist has unfortunately died in this incident. The woman who was driving the red SUV, the only person in that car, thankfully, was taken to the hospital for examination. The bullet that struck Cone Parker was fired downwards towards the asphalt, which then ricocheted and struck him on the right side of his chest. He was taken to the hospital where hours later, he was pronounced dead. Keep you updated with any more information that we know as we know it, but as of right now, she is safe and being treated at a local hospital. Well, John, I've been keeping in contact with the chapter president of the Montana Federation of Public Employees, Katie Cosby, and after months of negotiations, a tentative agreement has finally been reached. The move over Montana law requires vehicles to slow down or move to the furthest lane away from first responders so they're safer while responding to calls. Unlike most things in this museum, this piece of history you can touch. Vitalant is going through what members are calling an emergency blood shortage, and during this time of year, the sunnier days are usually when people need it the most.
I'll try to let everybody know.
Here at the stockyards and Billings, classes are being offered for a breeding process known as artificial insemination, preparing those who want to work with cattle to give the best quality meat for the consumer. And as tempting as it can be for many, gambling addiction is a serious issue. If you're struggling, the National Council on Problem Gambling has many resources for anyone needing help. You can go to the link below to find out more information. And right behind me, you can see that the Multi-Action Research Center, also known as MARC, is hosting an event with different charity organizations hosting a different booth to help anybody that has had any impact in the area due to the flooding damage.
We think the citizens of Laurel deserve an ambulance 24/7.
Director of Laurel Emergency Medical Services Lindy Gerchek serves more than 7,000 people in the population of Laurel, with 17 volunteers and only 5 full-time EMS providers.
We have 4 days a week that we rely really heavily on volunteers, and volunteerism is getting harder and harder.
And according to her, the limit on volunteers means EMS services for Laurel are also limited. The simple reality is EMS isn't considered an essential service, so it's not getting funding from federal or state agencies like police or fire departments are. That's when a mill levy comes in. A mill levy is a tax rate depending on the value of a property, and Laurel EMS is proposing an increase to fund EMS services, which equates to a tax increase of between $5 and $20 a month more per household. Gerchek thinks the problem of understaffed emergency medical services is being taken more seriously in other parts of the country.
There are states that have designated their ambulances as an essential service, but more importantly than just designating us as an essential service is funding.
Funding that could come if the mill levy passes on November 7th for increased staff, small recruitment and payment for volunteers, and more training and recruitment resources.
Not being that essential service, there's no guarantee that one is coming, unfortunately. And again, that's not just a Laurel issue, that's an issue across our state and the country right now, but we're hoping to fix it for our citizens.
I'm Connor McEvoy.
Please vote.
Nonstop Local. Of the many historical buildings still standing in Billings, one building stands out amongst the rest, with faded signs of the businesses that once operated there. The signs were first displayed in the early 20th century, when advertisement options were limited.
It used to be a very common practice for buildings to advertise on the side of their buildings. I mean, this is certainly early 1900s and before billboards came around. So the sides of buildings were used to advertise.
4 businesses have occupied this building from the 1920s to present day: Cone Crystal Ice Company, Farmers Union Co-op Creamery, a Coca-Cola bottling plant, and now a commercial printing press. As the businesses change, the signs remain the same. These signs are now affectionately known as ghost signs, preserving the legacies of the businesses the building housed throughout its past. It's something historian Dr. Tim Urbaniak says causes debate amongst historians who share 2 different schools of thought.
One school thinks that they should be left to just fade away until they're no longer visible, and another thought is that they be preserved so that we can still see the history that occurred there.
Billings artist Riley Zubrennan chose the latter, taking it upon herself to bring the Cone Crystal Ice Company and Coca-Cola signs back to life.
It seemed to be that the Coca-Cola sign was never restored.
Zubrennan took on the project in late July after getting noticed for her other pieces of work across the region. While creativity and restoration don't always go hand in hand, Zubrennan is using her talent to keep the local history alive.
The main difference is just making sure that I'm not changing anything. So really following exactly what I'm told about the historical aspects, the dates on it. For the Coca-Cola one, I even projected it because I just wanted it to be exact so that I could trace it, and then I go from there after I trace it at night.
But if you ask Zumbrennen, she'll tell you she didn't finish the Coal and Crystal Ice Company sign all by herself.
I loved being here with her and helping her.
Aislinn Zumbrennen, Riley's daughter, is in 3rd grade at Elysian Elementary School. She got to spend her summer helping her mom fill in the sign, showing up to work, even when it was hard.
It was hot the whole time.
The pair worked together in the summer heat to fill in the brick and lettering to get it exactly right, and Aislinn says she's taking happy memories from the experience.
It makes me feel really good. I'm proud of my mom, and I'm happy she gets to follow her dream, and it just makes me feel really happy inside.
In the next few weeks, the scaffolding will be removed so the signs can be seen in their full glory. Meanwhile, Zumbrennen is already eyeing her next project, the 7-Up sign designed when Coca-Cola had the company as a distributorship.
All sides of it will have the signs brightly recolored, and it'll be another building in Billings that'll be nice to look at, but still holding its historical value.